Stoicism was introduced during the Hellenistic period in the early 3rd century BC during the emergence of the Roman Empire. It was influenced by the Cynics and the teachings of Socrates. It had a lot of influence on Greek rulers and elite. Stoicism is broken down into early, middle, and late Stoa. One associated philosopher, Zeno of Citium, is considered to be the founder of Stoicism. He was born in the Greek city of Citium on Cyprus. His father was a merchant, and Zeno originally wanted to follow in his father's footsteps, but found Xenophon's Memorabilia and was inspired by Socrates and decided to start studying philosophy. He started off under Crates of Thebes, a Cynic, and later moved on to Megarian philosophers such as Stabilo. Zeno eventually founded the Stoic school of philosophy and continued to live and teach in Athens until his death. Another important philosopher is Chrysippus of Soli. He moved to Athens at a young age and began studying under Cleanthes and became the third head of the school when Cleanthes passed. Chrysippus expanded on ideas of Zeno and made an original system of prepositional logic. None of Zeno's or Chrysippus's writings survived. They only exist as fragments and descriptions from later Stoics. Laertius is responsible for much of what we know about Zeno's Republic. One tenet of philosophy, Stoic philosophy, is that emotions such as fear and envy, sexual attachments, and passionate love of anything were fake and unimportant. One should instead focus on their inner self for happiness, and virtue is caused by knowledge. One of Laertius's descriptions of Zeno's Republic support this. It states, "Further, they said that the wise man will feel affection for the youths who, by their countenance, show a natural endowment for virtue. So Zeno in his Republic. It is also their doctrine that amongst the wise there should be a community of wives with free choice of partners, as Zeno says in his Republic, and Chrysippus on his treatise on the Republic. Under such circumstances we shall feel paternal affection for all the children alike, and there will be an end of the jealousies arising from adultery." Believed the sage, who is a person that achieved moral and intellectual perfection, would not experience misfortune, and that virtue is more important than being happy. Marcus Aurelius, a later Roman leader who believed in Stoicism, wrote the Meditations, which said, "Every moment think steadily as a Roman, and what man to do, what thou hast in hand, with perfect and simple dignity and feeling of affection and freedom and justice, and to give thyself relief from all other thoughts. And thou wilt give thyself relief if thou doest every act of thy life as if it were the last, laying aside all carelessness and passionate aversion from the commands of reason, and all hypocrisy and self-love, and discontent with the portion which has been given to thee. Thou seest how the few the things are, that which if a man lays hold of, he is able to live a life which flows in quiet, and is like the existence of the gods. For the gods, on their part, will require nothing more from him who observes these things." This means that Stoicism should be a way of life, and one can try to live like a sage, they will have a happy life. Stoicism has had an influence on many modern things today, such as religion and politics. Christianity has been influenced by Stoicism in that people will be judged on their moral will and how virtuous they have been in their decision-making. Stoicism also had an influence on politics. Stoicism emerged while much was falling apart. It taught people not to place happiness in perishable things, which is still thought about today. Stoicism also supported globalization because it was founded while slavery was a huge thing in Rome. Seneca, a later Stoic, said, "Remember that he whom you call your slave sprang from the same stock, is smiled upon by the same skies, and on equal terms with yourself, breathes, lives, and dies." This is still relevant today because there is still inequality in our world, and we still need to keep things like this in mind. In closing, Stoicism has a long history and has influenced many things in the modern world.